Hola Bandidos, ¿cómo estamos? Welcome to Mel's Magic. I'm Magic Mel. This is Owl, my spirit guide, and it's good to have you here. I pulled some cards, past, present, future for us earlier, but before I go into that, I'd like to I feel like pulling an oracle card for a general topic. So I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about until I pull the card, ¿vale? I already cleared the space, so I'm just going to pull the card now. So a general message for us, whoever is watching. May the message be in our highest good and the highest good of everyone involved. I hope you're doing well, by the way. It's un chingo de calor aquí. It's like 40 degrees in June. It's crazy. So slow movement and hydration. One more. Okay, let's see. That's insane. It's insane because, okay, if I tell you the truth, the upright is truth be told, and I just pulled it in the reverse. If I tell you the truth, I pulled this very card earlier, I think last night, because I was wondering what to base my next episode on, which is this one. But this morning, or just like recently, I'm like, you know what? I'm not sure. I'm going to shuffle again. I'm going to pull a card in front of you, and it's the same card, but in reverse. So the topic is the same. It's crazy. So here we go. This is from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Truth be told. Can you see? I love the imagery of this deck. There's a mask, a golden mask. There's an owl. As you know, I love owls. Check him out. And the owl has an open window where if you look very closely, there's the image of what I think is spirit. Can you see it? Can you see the face in the window? Take a look. Okay, so the owl is opening its window to the chest and there's little hearts flying out. Beautiful imagery, no? And it's in the reverse. I'm not going to look it up in the booklet. I'm just going to talk about it. First of all, upright. It's a broad topic anyway in itself. Truth be told, I'm just going to riff on it. It's hard. It's difficult to tell the truth. It's difficult to tell the truth. I guess that's the challenge position. Because it's difficult to be even honest with ourselves. So forget about being honest with other people. Isn't it difficult enough to be honest with ourselves? I feel in my past, I walked around with a lot of masks that I was even unaware I was wearing, but I was hiding behind masks because it felt unsafe to show my true self. So I hid behind these layers, which were ego defense mechanisms. I didn't feel safe enough to show my authentic me. And this goes all the way back to childhood. Something I had to unpack when my world pretty much came crashing down 3 years ago. I was, I guess, forced by the universe to return back to this home, my childhood home, and to really look back at my life and see how things had come to this point. And I realized that maybe before coming to this point, I just want to share quickly. I had always suffered under depression or anxiety or both at the same time without me even knowing it or diagnosing it back in the end. But if I look back, it's very clear. And it all came crashing down 3 years ago when I had this kind of final breakdown, when the house of cards collapsed, and I was forced to face myself. I was in terrible pain, and I was scared to face myself because somehow I knew that facing the truth would be very, very painful. And isn't it ironic how we cause ourselves more suffering by escaping the truth, by trying to avoid pain? When we try and avoid the actual pain, we inflict a second arrow that goes looping around and hitting us every time and time again, causing us more suffering and keeping us stuck in a loop of suffering. I had to face myself, and it took a lot of bravery. But when I did it, I was actually face to face with a little version of me, the little Melanie, that I realized I had abandoned a long time ago. And the pain consisted in admitting to myself and to that version of myself that I had abandoned her, that I betrayed her in the sense that I trespassed my own boundaries. I let others trespass my boundaries because I had such a fragile sense of myself. There was a lot of enmeshment going on. I was hyper attuned to other people's emotional states. Because I didn't have a sense of myself, I outsourced that sense of self from others. I always tried to control the image others had of me. Melanie the good girl, Melanie the nice girl, Melanie the A student. But inside I carried a deep void that I tried to desperately fill. And that I didn't even know was there, and I didn't even know how to fill. But essentially I was hiding my own authentic self. I didn't feel safe enough to express that. I didn't feel safe enough to show that to anyone, not even to myself. And in the meantime, I hid behind these masks and these layers of conditioning. So how difficult is it to come face to face with the truth of our pain, the truth, the root cause of our suffering? Telling the truth is a big challenge. It requires us to risk vulnerability, risk rejection, risk not being understood, risk being ostracized, and us human beings as primarily relational beings, one of our first needs is connection to other people. That even goes beyond the physical need for food and water sometimes. I mean, I'm sure you've been heartbroken at some point in time, no? And how did you suffer during that time? Were you able to eat? Were you able to drink properly? I wasn't. So relational rupture causes us tremendous pain. That's why if we're at the risk of losing connection in favor of being authentic, which one did we choose in the past? I chose rejecting my authenticity for the sake of maintaining connection. Basically, it came out of survival mode. Yeah, how can we tell the truth to others if we're not even aware of our own truth? What does it even mean to be aware of our own truth? It comes down to accepting our feelings, understanding our feelings, respecting our feelings as our truth. Our feelings are our truth parameter. It doesn't even matter if that truth is not accepted by others. What matters is that we're feeling it, and in that moment, those feelings are our truth. And it might be based on some past conditioning, Nevertheless, the feelings are valid. So if we reject our feelings, we are no longer honoring our truth. And me in the past, I didn't trust my feelings. I never trusted my feelings. Actually, as a teenager, stuffed them all down because I didn't understand them. I absorbed a lot of toxic energy from my family members unconsciously. And I guess being an empath and being highly sensitive, I never knew why all of a sudden at age 16 I collapsed and just didn't get out of bed anymore. That was the beginning of my first depressive episode. It makes sense now because we absorb the emotions of our environment, the feelings of our environment, the mood of our environment. And if that is negative, we absorb it, especially for sensitive. So I never knew what to do with my feelings. I didn't even understand them. I thought something was actually wrong with me for having those quote unquote bad feelings. So it took me 39 years to come face to face with all the repressed feelings that were festering in my system. And feelings and emotions are stored in the body, they're stored in our organs, they don't just disappear. As kids, we're highly capable of expressing ourselves. You know, when you see kids, they're all, one moment they're upset and they're crying, and the next one, once they've released it, they go on and play again. As adults, we somehow are challenged with this ability to process and release emotions. So I definitely stored up a lot of toxicity in my system. And I didn't know how to self-regulate, to regulate my nervous system. And what happened was that I kept on running away from myself, kept on running away from facing this void and this accumulated darkness because I was scared. Truth be told, I was scared. I was scared to go that way, into the feeling, into the body. I was always escaping myself. Never felt safe to be in the body. So push come to pull, in 2019 everything collapsed. I was in the biggest depression of my life, basically. And I had to finally look at that pain I was carrying in myself. I was forced to face the truth. There was no other way. And once I did that, once I realized that underneath all this pain were years of self-betrayal, once I accepted that, acceptance is the first step even before forgiving, accepting that that happened, I literally apologized to the little version of me, and I said, I'll never do that again. I will never betray you again. I'll try my best. So that was basically a decreto, don't know how to say it in English. I swore to myself, to that little version of me, that I would never hurt her again in that way, that I would never betray her in that way again, that I would honor my boundaries. And that was the start of my recovery. Brick by brick, step by step. And I have her here in my bathroom when I brush my teeth in the morning. And out of the corner of my eye, I see my 5-year-old version who's still alive in me. Thank God. So in 2009, I came face to face with her and I forgave myself. And I told her I'm going to be truthful from now on. And it wasn't a smooth ride from then on. I was challenged into this new paradigm of really honoring my feelings, which meant having to face that fear of being rejected. Because essentially my string of self-betrayal had to do with this huge anxious attachment style that I had in the past of the fear of being rejected. But I told myself, well, I have to face that fear and risk being rejected by others for the sake of not betraying myself. So with every situation, I built stronger boundaries. And the only way of doing that was really to stay in the body and face the feelings, to trust myself, to trust my feelings, something I never did in the past, to trust that whatever I was feeling was valid and that I had to honor that and communicate that. And that my feelings were actually guiding me. They were telling me, am I on or off course? Am I in alignment or off? So instead of outsourcing this guidance from outside, which was another thing, always looking for an external authority, I started to trust myself. It's scary to trust ourselves because there's no one else to tell us what to do anymore. It basically means stepping into our power. Turn it up right now. The truth is, I never realized that I was very powerful. Or maybe I intuited it, but I was scared to even go that way because stepping into our power means taking responsibility for our lives. There's no one out there to blame anymore. Not even our parents, not the past, nothing. It's taking full accountability for everything that happened and is happening now. And I guess that's scary. But the truth is that we're co-creators of our world around us. Creation hasn't stopped on the seventh day. We are part of co-creation. We are a fragment of the universe. As above, so below. As within, so without. We are a fractal of the universe. Everything in us mirrors everything outside. Our body is a micro system, a micro reflection of the universe at large. Look at Chinese medicine, look at Yin Shin Jitsu, all of these ancient healing modalities. What is the saying? You can find the universe reflected in a corn of sand. The truth is that we're in a period of immense transition and extreme polarization. The universe is squeezing us onto our path, which is an individual path of facing our shadows and healing, of reclaiming the inner child, of taking it by the hand and saying, no more betrayal, I'm here for you now, let's move forward. The truth is that what's happening outside is a reflection of what's happening inside. The truth is if we don't reclaim our own shadows, we keep on projecting it outside. It's time to really shed the light onto our shadow parts and not reject them or deny them anymore, but integrate them. It's time to become whole. And on this journey towards wholeness, we realize that all these rejected parts belong to us. Internal rejected parts and outside rejected parts. That we're really all one. That what annoys me in another person is something that I rejected in myself. That other people are reflections of ourselves. That what's happening in the world is a reflection of ourselves. Are you surprised that there's so much war outside? Close your eyes and look inside. Are you in conflict? How can there be peace outside if we're at conflict and at war within ourselves? The truth is that the tendency is to hold and grasp onto the old and the familiar because it feels safer, but it's not. There's no amount of outer security that can make up for inner safety, anchoring in yourself, in your truth. You will never feel safe if you live in fear. So I lived half of my life in fear. And a large part of my healing process is constantly this asking myself, do you choose fear? Do you choose love? Do you choose contraction? Do you choose expansion? Moment by moment. And it's something very personal. No one outside is watching while you're going through this process. Yet it's immense. These tiny steps that you're doing are huge. The truth is, like this little owl, when you start looking inside of you and you realize that there are vast spaces unexplored, that by looking inside you can really connect to the source of it all, to your own source of love, then you're able to give it away like this little owl, blasting open the window to its internal freedom and giving away all these hearts. Because the truth is, when you realize that you can access this in yourself, you feel so much joy, you want to share it and you want to give it away. Because the truth is, whatever we give out, whatever we project outwards, for good and for bad, comes back to you, because everything is a reflection. We live in a holographic universe. This is a one big, great illusion that seems real because we perceive it through our five senses. But we are the creators of our reality. We are projecting outward. The truth is, if you take off your mask, like this one, you can turn it from lead into gold, because even the pain and all the suffering had its purpose. Like the lotus flower, the mud is necessary for the lotus flower to grow. We need our shadow parts to see what is the light. Yin and Yang principle, no? Good and bad can be reversed. It's a paradox, but everything is necessary. But it's up to us to choose. The truth is, if we focus our energies on the positive and on a vision that is worthwhile living, then we are the change. The truth is, no one is going to come and rescue us, that we are in charge of our lives and that we don't have to do it on our own, because once you connect to a higher power, infinite support is given to you. And you realize that you're invaluable, you're unique. You come from you create a unique perception from your life experiences. So although we're all connected, that's again the paradox. We are unique in our individuality. And everyone's perception is important, because it's through all of our different perceptions that we create the whole. We're not meant to be homogeneous and uniform. You're meant to be a weirdo. The truth is that we're multidimensional and come with so many gifts that are to be shared with others. The truth is also that change is possible, and that what is required is having a vision of what you want the world to be. Let's stop focusing on what's not working. Let's look towards a vision that inspires us. Let's stop waiting for others to change. Let's spend time looking inwards and liberating ourselves. The truth is that every time we meet our fear or our ego stories with compassion, it can be transmuted. The truth is that is really the work of bringing heaven to earth, spirit into the 3D. The truth is that enlightenment is not some state above it all, but enlightenment is drawing the circle of our love and compassion so wide that everything is allowed to sit in it. Enlightenment is being with our shadow and transmuting it through our acceptance and compassion and love for all our parts. Enlightenment is being in the light, connected to the light, where we have so much assistance by whatever you want to call it, angels, guides, and they're not more powerful than we are. Us souls have immense powers, and we have an army of assistants ready to assist us on our soul purpose, on our calling. The truth is that there's no going back. The truth is it takes courage to step into this uncertainty and face every moment with boldness and faith and courage and joy. The truth is you can't fight the old, but you can create the new. And the truth is that our thoughts are very powerful and that our emotions are magnetic. If we combine thought and emotion, we create. So where are our thoughts going and how are we feeling? The truth is there are so many people who are looking for something new, who want to create something new. The truth is that it's time to collaborate, to share our gifts, to follow our calling, and to embody these higher frequencies. And the truth is that it's possible to come out of depression. It takes patience, it takes dedication, but we are assisted every step that we take towards healing. Let's start by being truthful with ourselves, taking off the masks that maybe served us in the past to protect us when we were in survival mode. But to thrive, we are being asked to take them off and to step into our truth, to follow our calling. We didn't come here to suffer. We didn't come here to suffer. But it's a choice. It's a choice to let go. It's a choice to forgive ourselves. It's a choice to do the work daily to increase our self-awareness. It's a choice to look for the tools that fit us in our healing journey. It's a choice to be patient. It's a choice to answer the call. can go on and on. I think I'll leave it here because it's going to take me forever to upload this. I'm already like 30 minutes in. It's funny. It was a big topic. That's why when I pulled it yesterday, I wasn't sure whether I should even talk about this. But it literally came out again in the reverse, like the challenge is to tell the truth. So I'm here to tell you my truth, a little bit of it at least. The truth is also that we can really liberate ourselves from our own fears. Because at the end of the day, it's our fears that limit us and that chain us. The truth is that love is a unifying force and that fear scatters and destroys. The truth is also that we don't need that much light to illuminate the darkness. The truth is also that, again, darkness is necessary. Going one extreme or other is where things go wrong. It's not about polarizing black, white, good, evil. It's about unifying. Accepting both, starting with us and ourselves. We're not all good or not all bad. The seed of evil and the seed of love is there. So which one do we water? Do we listen to good wolf or bad wolf? Do we follow temptation or listen to our intuition? Well, I'll leave it at that, okay, guys? Again, I pulled those past, present, future from the Light Seer deck cards, but I'll leave that for another episode. Anyway, so I pulled the Owl card. Owl and I greet you and encourage you and invite you to experience your own truth. Look for your own truth. You can trust yourself. You can trust your feelings. Your truth matters. Your voice matters. And I feel the more of us start living genuinely, the better it will get. Because we can only hide behind our own lies for so long. The truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. I wish you infinite love and infinite gratitude. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Check out my other episodes from Mel's Magic Season 1 and 2 and 3. And if you have anything to say or share, please leave in the comment box. I'd be grateful to hear from you. ¿Vale? Lo dejamos con esto. Sending lots of love.